Hey all, and welcome to the mix video of Velocity. We're here in Logic, where I imported all the audio tracks from Ableton and mix it all. As you can see, I've cut out some parts, did some stuff to it, which I will come back to later. I'll just show you the mixer. This is the finished mix. Actually, I've used some hardware reverbs in this track, which I don't have currently connected. I have a different sound card, so it's a bit difficult to play it how I mixed it. So I'll just have to keep that in mind. Actually, the kick drum is exported. It was compressed already in Ableton Live, so I didn't really have to do it here. So just some more equalizing here, going on a little, how you say it, little bump at 30 hertz, just for some subby stuff, and just some meat out of the kick, probably for the bass line to kick through, followed by the tape plugin I told you about earlier in the synth video. 2Tape4, really cool emulation of a tape machine that can add some more bass and stuff like that. The analog sounds. Here we are. Oh, need to press the right key commands here. Has some high band compression. So this the Pro MB from FabFilter as well. Really cool multi-band stuff. And just keeps the high frequencies in check. Did lose some though. Strange me. The hi-hats. They have some low-end roll-off, even more than in Ableton. The claps has this transient designer. Let me just say it right. Without, it sounds a bit tiny, and with it, I've made the sustain a bit higher. What this does, it knows when the sound starts, and just like a really kind of compressor sounding kind of thing. So you can make it longer, or shorter, and you can do that with the sustain, but also with the attack. So you can really have a really slow attack or extremely punchy. So it's really cool thing to do. There's actually one in Logic. It's called the enveloper. There's also one in Bitwig. There's one in Ableton, I think. But this one is from SPL. Great stuff. Also the tape stuff to give it some more, vibe, some more, saturation. Logic equalizer to cut some low end off. 808. It's just some, pretty elaborate EQing actually. Probably wasn't too keen on the mid sound of the claps. There's the open hats, also some high-end, low-end roll-off, the FM sequence I told you about. There's a little bit of flanging, and there's the loopje. Put it through the cabinet. Gives it a nice vibe. And here's the bass. The SPL twin tube. I'll just go to the bass. Twin tube adds some harmonics. Set it to, what is it? 6 kilohertz. And a bit of saturation. Always nice. Be sure though, if you use this kind of plugins, to turn down the output, because yeah, you can't really make good decisions when if you increase the volume, it will always sound better. So if you want to make a good judgment on based on what you do here, make sure they're the same volume. So that's here. So now you can really hear the difference. Next to that, an equalizer boosting something in the sub stuff. Of course, the piano. Also, some more harmonics. Oh, system overload. Once again, I'm using my internal sound card here, and it isn't happy. The ensemble. To make it some bit wider, and there's a compressor here that does sidechain. I think, yeah, it's sidechain from audio 2, which is the kick drum. Sidechain compression is when a compressor listens to incoming audio, and when it exceeds a certain threshold, it will turn the volume down, like a really advanced volume knob, and the sound the compressor listens to is called the sidechain, and you can do stuff with the sidechain. You can either EQ it, or you can say, hey, I don't want you to listen to the sound coming in, like the piano. I want you to listen to something else entirely, like the kick drum. And what happens then is that when the kick drum sounds, the volume gets turned down for the piano. And you can see it here. It's really subtle, but yeah, it works to give the kick drum some more space. And it's dance music after all, and it's not the 1990s anymore. So people need to hear the kick drum even in a really busy produced mix these days. Oh. So that's the piano. Of course, the synth is the same thing. Hey, there's the tape echo again. Really love that. The zaagsynth. So just the compressor did enough to that sound in live. Same thing with the disco ARP, I've called it. Didn't even have to pan it because I already did that in Ableton Live. The solo, of course. Where's that? Oh, it's right here. Used a different delay as in Ableton, but I can stand out a bit more. Also some more harmonics to dirty it up. But of course, always nice. Just use the Logic plugins for that. It's great. And oh, I've got the phaser, really tiny bit. Just add some movement, and of course the tape echo with the reverb and the MS-20. Also the reverb. I actually took out the reverb in Ableton and put it back here, and a bit of EQing. And sidechain compressor. You can see it in the gain reduction meters here. And I actually used outboard reverb and delay for this track. Really old 80s digital reverb and digital delay boxes from Dynacord. They really sound terrible, but when used with drums and percussion, you can really fatten up the sound if you know what I mean. Well, as I told you, I don't have them connected right now, so I really can't let you hear that. But you can listen to the song on Spotify or buy it on Beatport, and you can hear the effect there. Another thing I did in Logic, which I do a lot of the times, as I told you, I use Ableton Live or Bitwig nowadays to create the whole track and maybe do a bit too much. So in Logic, I then take away stuff or lower the volume. Anyway, that kind of thing. So you can see here, for example, the zaagsynth. If I select a region here, you can see here in the inspector I've changed the gain a bit, -1. Here's it's not much. Really tiny bit. So here I've lowered it -3 dBs, and probably So the disco ARP here is turned down, and here it's turned up, but the zaagsynth is then turned down. So that way you create space for all the other elements in the mix to flow. So here the ARP is -6, and here it's -1. So that's a pretty big difference. And if we go to those sections, and now go to the other section, so you can hear the difference, and even when moving over, because the MS-20 kicks in there and people don't really hear it, but you leave space for all the elements in the mix. And I do this a lot, or take complete pieces out. For example, here the chords of the synth play under the solo, but not the piano. But that was in Ableton. There was also the piano playing, but it was a bit too much, so I took it out. And now only the piano sounds, but the chords come back in here. But then the pianos is reduced in volume by 3 dBs. That way you create a sense of space in the track, and for other elements to flow through. And yeah, that's basically it, I think. There's nothing on the master. Well, there's a meter on the master. Just see what I'm doing volume-wise and dynamics-wise. As you can see, I'm not clipping it at all. Always a good thing to do, because when you export it, it will it clips. You get in problems when going into the mastering phase. And after that, I would have had it mastered. I'll do that myself in another program. So yeah, as you can see by my how I work, I put on different hats. I have my composing hat when I'm in Ableton Live or Bitwig. I have my engineering hat when I mix in Logic, and I have on my mastering hat when I use my mastering software, and that's Triumph here. Maybe I'll show you that another time, not in this series of videos. So this is Velocity. You can get it. It's out on Manual Music. You can get it on iTunes. Download it on Beatport. You can stream it from Spotify. Listen to it on YouTube. Wherever you want, actually. So go ahead and buy the track. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comments. And if you really like, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Probably some more technical stuff, music production stuff coming up shortly. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.